All right, bringing Jeremy's Tundra in for his first oil change. He's got the hybrid version with the fancy dash and a digital mirror and all that. But we're gonna grab some Duncan and get to the shop. We got the Duncan. We got the limited TRD off-road with the iForce Max. We'll change the oil on it later. Let's get this place opened up. Very strange, last week they got like 3 axles for this Kia, but none of them were right. I'm not sure what's going on with that. How you doing? Hope you're doing well. The starter box, we don't need that. We can put that over here. Kind of like this relay. I'm not sure what happened with that. I might keep it. Oh look, there's a starter. So, pretty good week last week. I did okay. We're gonna have to step it up this week. I gotta hustle. I'm not trying hard enough, apparently. Anyway, what we're gonna do is finish getting this place open up, but we're gonna put some clips in, so that way you'll have a better idea what's gonna happen in this video today. The Kia Sportage 2017 Ford Escape. Runs rough, check engine lights on, has no power. I would like you to take my refrigerant out. We got an absolutely wonderful sunrise this morning. It's about 74, 75 degrees, not very muggy at all. So that's pretty nice. What we're gonna do is get this place opened up, get in that shop, try to learn a thing or two and have some fun. I know one thing, we'll probably have some fun with an old El Camino. We got a Cadillac Eldorado convertible in here. We got a Mercedes with CAN issues that we can't get to communicate. There's a BMW out there. That might be the one I worked on, so it didn't get picked up yet. We got a 4-wheel drive F250 out there. And we should be plenty busy today. Let's finish getting this place open and get started. Stay tuned. We are firing up the day and the week with a Kia Sportage. Whoa, that's nice. Customer says, check engine light came on. I lost some coolant and it doesn't have any power. Uh-oh. Did you hear that? That doesn't sound good. I heard a rattle, like rods. Let's get it in the shop and see before we come to any conclusions. Check engine light is blinking and it feels like it's running on 3 cylinders or less cylinders than it's supposed to have. 146,508 miles. My goodness gracious, that's a lot of miles. I'm gonna give it a 4 on the rating. Clock's not right. It's just a little after 8, not quite a quarter after. Look at that check engine light blinking. That's terrible. We'll grab the scanner, get some codes, and see what direction to go. But that noise I heard on startup, that's not good. There's no oil change sticker. And let's check the oil and the coolant level before we let it run too much. Then we'll get the scanner. Hope you guys had a good weekend. Let's get to it. I'm excited. It's gonna be a good week. The oil, just a hint of sparkly. Can't be 100% positive. Maybe it's my imagination, but it looks like it's starting to do the metal flake tango. 148,000 on a Kia. That's where we're headed. I'm gonna crank it over for a makeshift block test. You guys tell me if it passes or fails. If it does have a head gasket problem, it's not that bad because it didn't push a whole bunch out. I just saw a little bubble, which is normal. That's interesting. I wonder where the coolant went. All right, let's get the scanner on. The oil's a little overfull. I'm wondering if it started making engine noise and they added oil, which is a very common thing people do. They neglect it, and when they start hearing engine knocking, they put oil in. It's about a quart over, I would guess, just a little bit over the full line. All right, scan tool. I think this is a 2014 Kia Sportage, 2.4 liter. Diagnoses. We're going to go ahead and check all the modules for codes, see what kind of codes we got, get some kind of direction. That noise I heard is a bad thing, but we'll see. Health report. One ECM code, that's it, huh? I was not expecting that. Glow relay stuck on. What? That is odd. Let's do a code search, go online. It is designed to alert the driver at an early stage of bearing wear before the occurrence of severe engine damage, including engine failure. So this says knock sensor concern. The code definition was glow relay. There's some kind of confusion somewhere. All right, I'm gonna go into data. We're gonna look at misfire data, see what cylinder's misfiring, pull a spark plug out, analyze a spark plug. That'll tell us engine condition. If there's oil on it, it'll smell like fuel and oil a little bit. That's a mechanically damaged cylinder. If it smells like just fuel, could have no spark, that kind of thing. So let's figure out which cylinder first. Let's go into, I'll show you with the cylinder power balance option. I'm not sure if we can do it because of that. Engine RPM over 0, compressor off, that's off. Coolant temperature over 80 Celsius. Well, it's not warmed up yet. We may need to let it warm up. Not matched. Retry after me. Okay, so it wants it to warm up. In the meantime, we'll try this. See if I can find misfire data. We'll bring that up. Total counter of emissions relevant misfires. Distance since code cleared 9,000 miles. I don't need that one, so we'll take that off and we'll add this one. Check engine lights blinking, and there's no misfires. Oh, there's a misfire. It is not happy at all. That is very odd. Let's try clearing the codes. Key on, engine off, clear the codes and see if that changes anything. Bring up data stream again, see if it saved my selections from before. It starts in T for total misfires. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Now we'll bring them up, start it up again, see how it runs. No check engine light, no blinking, runs pretty good. No misfires. Got my power back. So I'm thinking what's happening is this thing had some bearing noise, rod or main bearing knock, and the knock sensors pick it up, put it in some kind of limp mode to protect the engine so it doesn't totally destroy itself. And you're supposed to bring it to the dealer or a shop to have it checked before your engine has a catastrophic failure, according to what we saw online in that code search. Because right now, she's running good. I might have to go drive it as much as I don't want to because I might get stuck, but I could bring the scanner and hopefully clear codes to nurse it back if I need to. So we may do that, see what it does on the road. I do want to check for coolant leak a little bit first before we get too crazy. It's possible it just lost coolant and overheated, and you know, maybe it was low on oil and they added to. All speculation, I don't know. So let's do that. Let's look for a coolant leak and then we'll probably take it for a drive. That's our adapter for this. We got a little pressurization on it. It's going somewhere. Hopefully not into a cylinder. I know one thing, I'll let it sit a couple minutes, crank it over gently, and see what happens. If it'll run rough, then a little bit of coolant's going into a cylinder. If it doesn't run rough, then it's probably just a slow leak that's up high and it won't push out coolant unless I really fill it up 100% of the way. Like a heater hose type of thing we'll have to focus on. Uh-oh. I was looking at the radiator for leaks and the clamp's not on a hose. Someone worked on it. I'm gonna pop that clamp on for him. fix something. Who knows if you have to take it back out again eventually, but now I don't have to worry about trying to remember whether I put it on or not. It's done. This thing lost pressure. Sometimes these caps and adapters will leak too. You gotta be careful about that, because I'm not seeing any leaks, but I keep losing pressure. I'm gonna keep on pumping her up and seeing where it goes. We'll fire it up in a minute. Rob just found water in the oil cap on this thing, so that spells disaster. These are terrible for engines, if you don't know, for anyone not in the loop. Almost sounds like it might even have restricted exhaust too. Very odd. But random misfires here and there from just about every cylinder except for 3. My adapter is leaking a little bit. That's where my drop's coming from. I'm wondering if this thing just overheated and pushed coolant out, but the fact that the overflow is also low, that's a bad sign. I think it's got some kind of engine damage and there's coolant intrusion from the cylinder head. So we're going to try to prove it out, but it's looking like it's not too good for this little 2.4. I got the knock adaptation screen up and the misfire screen up. I just felt it run a little rough right there. It's not supposed to be doing any of these misfires. Rob's out there listening for engine noises and couple things going on here. We're just trying to figure it out. I don't want to tell someone they need an engine when they don't. We might be a little early on that. I'm gonna have to go take it for a drive. We can't find any coolant leaks. I think my adapter leaks. Where'd the coolant go though? Maybe it's burning it. So that's another thing we can try, letting the pressure sit on it for quite a while, come back, see if it misfires worse. I do want to pull a spark plug out and take a look. Apparently we did a tune-up like 1.5 years, 2 years ago on it, but not that we would have done something wrong, but we'll still be able to look at spark plugs and see what they look like and do a visual inspection of those. Yeah, every once in a while you get these. That knock sensor code is to protect it from catastrophic engine failure, so that's why it was in limp mode, and clearing it made it run pretty decent. Ooh, it's hot. These plugs definitely have some miles on them. I'm not sure if there's confusion about the tune-up part, or maybe it's driven a lot of miles since we tuned it up, but the gap looks a tiny bit wide, and the plug is getting a little bit of a steam clean thing going on here. Maybe this thing's consuming coolant. That knock code is the dead giveaway for engine problems. Those knock sensors hear it way before your human ear does. By the time you hear it, it's long gone. If an engine's knocking at all, it's over, whether you hear it or the computer does. But I just want to be 100% before we head down that path. So I'm gonna go drive it now. Feast your eyes. Fine European luxury. I think this is like a 2006, actually in really nice shape. The headlights are faded, but that could be remedied pretty easily. I think these headlights are only like $600-700 a pop. And then it would look beautiful. The paint's nice, the interior is nice. We'll take a look. They said they lost coolant, and I see traces of a sloppy oil change or something. So I think the check engine light's also on, and they're waiting. So we'll take a quick look around, see what we can find, grab the scanner, and go from there. Rob went and drove that Kia, and he said that the light came back on. It set that knock sensor code again. So the engine's on its way out, and it also feels like the catalytic converter's hissing, and we're seeing random misfires. So what's happening is consuming coolant. The bearings are going out. The cat's gotten contaminated from misfires randomly, constantly You know, the hotter it gets, it seems like the worse it gets. Or if it sits overnight, it rattles a lot on startup. The customer said it's been doing that a while. So engine and cat, he's going to give him an estimate for that. We're basically done with it for now. I cleared the codes again, but as soon as he drives it on a highway, apparently it's going to pop the light back on, put it in limp mode again. So let's move on to this one. Well, that's no good. They were in a drive-through line apparently and started smoking and leaking coolant, and they pulled it over and parked it, and I guess it was towed in. I'm not sure if they drove it in or towed it in. I thought they said he was waiting. In any event, the valve covers a leak in oil. It's cooling all down the radiator tanks. So most likely it's got a cracked radiator, but we could put the pressure tester on this one like we did the other. Hopefully I have the correct adapter. Since it's an older Mercedes, it's probably in my kit, and luckily I didn't put it away. I'll remember the BMW from last week. I did the oil leaks, and I don't know if you remember, but we heard a weird noise when I started it up. Like it would intermittently, you're right, and the belt would make a noise, and the tensioner would bounce when it happened. I mentioned it. We weren't sure compressor or alternator, but they gave it to Joe because I got a few cars to look at, and it has nothing to do with what I did. But the alternator's not charging now, so our battery light came on. It does have a new battery, but now it needs an alternator. So we'll see what happens with that one. It's 70,000 miles. You know, you guys know. Next European car. Let me look at my adapter suit we have. Mercedes, boom, that looks easy. Perfect. I gotta put some water in it first. She's a thirsty girl. Can't even build up any pressure. What the heck? That means it's coming out somewhere. Oh, I see it. Oh yeah, gushing out the radiator on the driver's side. Tank split down there. Okay. Give you guys a better view with the streamlight of what's going on down there. See it? There it is. That is not supposed to be like that. Hope that showed up. 2017 Ford Escape. Looked at this one a couple weeks ago. You might remember I did a wheel alignment and checked suspension noise, and the right rear arm was coming off the bushing and rubbing. So I'm thinking that was their noise. It definitely is a concern either way. They got me an arm. I'm not sure if it's the right one. I think this is the one the spring goes on. I didn't think it had a spring on it, but we're going to lift it up and take a look in that right rear. It's got 97,000 miles on it. Yeah, this is the arm that is hitting. It's coming off the bushing. It's this little guy. This is the one we got. Although, can't say that's in much better shape. Probably wouldn't be a bad idea to do both. What's this? Rubber, I think. Yeah, this is rubber coming out of this bushing. Alright, let me let him know. We definitely need this arm because it's touching. Look at this cream puff. 2007 Toyota Camry. Runs rough, check engine lights on, has no power. Oil level, got brand new oil right in between low and high. Got a new alternator on it. Got a new battery. What could possibly be wrong with this thing? It does have 186,000 miles on this little 2.4 liter VVTi 16 valve Toyota power plant. Grab the scanner, get it talking, and see what's going on. I'm suspecting something to do with cam timing myself. Just a hunch. Let's check it out. 186, 422 to be exact. 91 degrees on the temp. It's probably closer to 89, but the ambient air temp is usually somewhere around the engine, so sometimes that can affect the temperature slightly, but the way those are accurate is when you're going down the road, they'll be more accurate. Anywho, 16 pin North America. Pretty clean car. You know, a little bit of your daily use stuff laying around here. It's probably going to get like a 7. A little bit of clutter out of here. This thing might go higher than that. Just got to wipe the dash down a little bit. Probably got a puppy dog or something, or maybe the guy sheds himself. I'm not sure. With VSC or without VSC? Let's go without, because I'm not interested in that right now. I'm worried about the way this engine runs. It definitely has a little rough idle kind of thing, but not like a specific misfire. More like probably random misfire codes and cam timing codes. I'm thinking. We'll see. OBD2 codes are the same as ECM codes usually. There's 3 ECM, 2 OBD2. So we'll let this run its course and we'll take a look. Well. Shows you what I know. Cylinder 2 misfire, cylinder 2 misfire, cylinder 2 misfire, cylinder 2 misfire, cylinder 2 misfire. Which cylinder do you think is misfiring? It does have a low or high power supply voltage to ABS. Open and pressure sensor circuit for refrigerant. Cannot receive data from TPMS sensors. So let's go ahead into the engine computer, take a look at some misfire data, verify its flag in number 2 while it's sitting here idling, which I'm sure it will, but it's just something I like to do. And then we'll jump out there and have us a look at the spark plug in cylinder 2. Nothing happening. So we'll take a look at the plug, maybe move the coil to a different cylinder and see what happens with that. I am really surprised the way this thing's running. I'm glad I didn't bet you anything. That's all I'm saying.
There's just so much shit that's still laying.
Someone's been working on this. Got new coils in it and stuff. Let's see what the plug looks like though. I don't see any cracks. It's weird. It's not wet. It's getting some warmth to it. Could be just transferring heat, but let's move the coil and plug just for fun, see what happens before we jump to conclusions like we already have. Toyota crumbly connectors. That's going to be something we'll have to fix if we're going to go ahead with this car. It's going to need all the coil connectors replaced. Usually what I do, if you haven't seen my other videos on these, I just crumble the plastic off and reuse just the plastic from the replacement connector. Instead of cutting the factory wiring harness, the wires don't go bad, just the plastic. So no need to hack up the harness. And even though you can do that, repair it properly. Yeah, number 2 looks like it's definitely firing a little richer because it's misfiring that coil so bad. Anybody want to place bets on whether the problem moves? If it doesn't move, then the next thing is a compression test. And if that passes also, then we're headed towards injector issues. Not very common in these, but it is possible. Alright, I got my connectors back to the best I can. Okay. Move that coil to cylinder 1, boom! So this thing needs spark plugs, 1 coil, 4 coil connectors. I would recommend all the coils, but they might be expensive. Some cars are 30 bucks, some they're 300. If they're 300, then you do one at a time when they go bad, right? If they're 30 bucks, I would do them all so that he doesn't come back mad at me in a month when another one goes out. And these have been replaced already too. But it's a pretty high failure item, so let's let him know up front, see where we go with the old Camry. 2007. Not in bad shape, but it just needs some extra detailing. That'd be pretty sweet. Oh, we got some quality door last coils. We got some Autolite Sparkies. I'd have gone with Denzos or NGKs or something, but that's fine. And we got some coil connectors. Taking these apart so I don't have to use the wiring and cut their wiring harnesses up, because the wires are fine. Show you what we're doing here. Dormant, not but the best. Comes like this, all one color. Also something I'd rather not have. To save these. Now, this is a lock, this white piece. It just pops off. And then inside here, I'm not sure if that shows up, there's little feet in here. And they just hold the wires in. They make fancy tools for this too, but we generally don't need them. Just pull them all out of there. And then when I take the new ones, take the old ones out, all I gotta do basically is put my hand under it, crumble this up, and the wires all come out, and I slip this in place, put the lock on it, and golden. These are so bad, they'll literally crumble in pieces right in your hands. Break all those tabs out. That's two. I'm not going to connect these. I'm changing the connectors, and I'm going to blow the broken pieces of plastic out of my way when I put the spark plugs and coils in. Sometimes you can just jiggle them and they're so crumbly it'll come out. And sometimes you got to go in here and break off some of these remnants, whatever's barely left holding it. Keep them in order, you're good to go. They even put orange in the center two and black weather pack seals on the outer two. Make sure they're fully seated. You'll hear 4 clicks if they're all the way in, and you'll see the metal feet showing up way up front. And then your little lock, the slots on the bottom. It's almost like Christmas. Look at those fine specimens. Sometimes these are different lengths. I gotta compare them, make sure they're the right length. Ah, not the right length. That's a bummer. When you put this in, it won't reach the spark plug. Let me let them know up front. Redo. Sweet 97 S10 with the 4.3 liter power plant. Customer says, I'm going to be doing my own AC work. I would like you to take my refrigerant out. Okay, that's what we're going to do. We're going to take their refrigerant out. It shows 85 psi, so it's probably a little bit low, but it does have some in it. He's very conscientious. He doesn't want to vent it into the atmosphere. That's what most people would do, so that's nice. So what we're doing is charge him for an evac and recharge, take the refrigerant out. He's going to do whatever work he wants to do at home. Bring it back, we'll do a vacuum and recharge. Pretty clean truck, really. Got the typical, you know, been out in the Florida sun dashboard. 109,303 miles. Pretty clean interior and all. It's probably a 6, I guess. It's 97, right? We got to take that into account. 27 years old. Got the regular S10 door hinges. See the hinges go bad on these all the time. The bushings wear out. They do sell kits to fix them. They're not really hard to fix either. The only problem you have is if they get bad and you just keep rocking them and you don't fix them, then it wears out the actual hinge itself instead of just the bushing. Then you end up having to either replace the hinges or to weld the hole and re-drill it. I've done it both ways. People tend to just let them go until the door don't close at all, and then they want to fix it. Then it costs more money. So 6 of one, half dozen the other. This did not have a lot of refrigerant. I knew it was going to be low. I didn't think it was going to be that low. That's crazy. 1/4 of a pound. So there's nothing big going on with this car. I got to do an inspection on it, I believe, too. So I'll do the inspection real quick. He does his own work, but so it has to be 100% for what I'm told. So we'll do that and send him on his way. And we'll catch you up when we're charging it back up, and we'll get to see if it works. It was low on refrigerant, so who knows what he's repairing. Compressor looks dry. Maybe the condenser, I don't know. We'll find out, and then we'll revisit this one when he comes back in a few days. That's more like it. Rod put these in for me. I'm not saying I doubt he tightened them. I'm just saying I want to check. So these are the right coils, just a little longer. The difference is US built versus Japanese built. The longer ones are for US built. The shorter ones are Japanese. We're going to go ahead and put the cover on here. We're going to go ahead and see how it runs. What do you think about that? We're going to stay out of trouble. We're going to make it work. And I got the correct arm for that escape from this morning. This is the actual one I needed. I knew the box looked too big. So we're going to get this done so I can use the lift and button it up. We'll try to get that escape done today too. I don't know, we're running out of time now. It's been really busy. I've worked on a bunch of cars. I did a couple safety inspections. I'm not going to bore you guys with those. They're pretty tedious for me. I can't imagine how you'd feel watching me check lights and wipers and tires and brake pads. It's not a lot of fun, basically. I did 2 of them for a guy today. But we're trying to upgrade the footage so I get more subscribers, not less. It's dropped way off. All of a sudden today it said 380, which is still a gain, but it's almost half of my better months. So you guys share the video around for me, will you? Let's go see how this thing runs. I shut it off. It didn't shut off. I just had a Vujad day. I could have sworn this never happened before. Alright. We're back on the old Ford Escape. Back to silliness. Not that big of a deal, you might think. You're like, oh look, T60. What's the big deal? Well, the gas tank's right there. That's kind of close. And you're like, just take the nut off the other side. What's the big deal? Well, the nut's welded. So they welded it on, and plus the bolt comes all the way past the sway bar. It's not going to clear the gas tank. So now you have to ask yourself, do I want to remove the gas tank? Or do I want to lower the cradle? I think I'm going to choose option B, lower the cradle, which involves a spring and a whole bunch of other stuff. And Rob popped his bit out of his socket so I can get the bolt loose, but I'm not seeing it coming out of there. We'll figure it out.
Get them, you said?
I think I have to lower the subframe. This is 0.6 in the labor guide, by the way. At least that's the labor we came up with somehow. All right, don't get too sad yet. We're gonna figure it out. Worst case scenario, cut the weld on the bolt, get the bolt out part of the way, cut it off, put a bolt in this way. If the bolt faced that way, it'll come right out. But it's Ford, so. The loud cracking. The first pull is the one I should have had the camera on for. Hard fail. Close down the YouTube channel. You suck. Well, got this one loose.
That's not.
Let's see if we can fit the bolt out. That's the problem. It's not going to be towed correctly when we're done. It's a big deal. Comes right out.
It still needed to go a little bit more, but I couldn't use that tool.
Wow.
I didn't know.
I wonder if I get my little I wonder if the 55 will fit in the 60 hole. It's a little shorter. My little ball's in the way. Makes it hard to get it out. The bushing's bound up on the bolt, not letting the bolt come out. And even so, the gas tank's going to be here before it comes out, but I'm wondering if we can snake it out of here. It seems like it's unthreaded.
You got it.
Have you worked on a Ford lately? I'll tell you what, the BMW makes more sense. The Toyota, way more sense. If this fits out, I have to take it all back. Told you we'd come out, big crybaby. What we could do, we can flip you over and have it look very confusing until I edit it so it's the other way around. Now, the tricky part.
What are you talking about?
What's even a big deal, man?
What's the big idea?
Just because you like GM and Toyota, you're gonna complain and you're gonna look a little silly when you do it. Dropping subframes and stuff, that's silly. You have to do any of that stuff. Well, now the problem is, you do have to do this though. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go like this. Carefully so I keep all my digits. No fear, this has a hammer end on it. It's made for it. Alright, I think right now we're in a place where we can get things to just cooperate.
You got it right on, honey.
I'm gonna snug it. I'm gonna snug her, and then I'm gonna bug and a rugger. And then when I'm on the alinamento rack, I'm gonna have to loosen it at ride height and snug her as a bug and a rugger at ride height. Ooh, this bolt's got some Labraggi on it. This is not the right size, but this miniature set only goes to 55. So we made it work.
Started, I need help.
Huh?
I need help.
Okay.
This transit, I was gonna move it. I don't know how to turn the emergency brake off. I don't see a lever, I don't see a pole.
What are you looking for?
How to turn off the brake on that transit. They have a secret set. I'm just gonna back out because it's nice. There's not anything my foot, there's no pole in it. I just thought I'd ask before I looked at it.
Just drag them back tires around with you, that's all. Just drag them around, there you go. Gotta go to Rob's. Rob's got took his bit out of his, I think it's a Mac socket set he has. He took the bit out for me. Rob's awesome. Let me get this threaded in. We're going over the alignment rack next.
Hey. How's your drive? Good?
Alright. I'm hanging out right here. And I'm going to put this brake pedal depressor on. We'll do a caster sweep together. I'm not sure if I don't remember if I aligned this a couple weeks ago when I first looked at it. But I'm going to align it again. If I did align it, it should be good. Uh-oh. Right rear and left front. That's right where I was messing around, so we'll jump back there first. First thing we're going to do our settled ride height dealio. Let these bushings know who's boss. Doesn't take much. All we're doing is letting that inner bushing relax inside there at ride height. In my other videos I've talked about the deflection. The bushing's made for 45 degrees of deflection, probably less, probably more like 30 degrees. So when you stress the bushing in the wrong place, it over rotates and shortens the life of the bushing drastically. So it's pretty important to set this kind of thing at ride height because it won't last through warranty sometimes, and you have to do it over for free. You don't want to do that. Okay, now I can set the rear tip. I do remember doing this one. Remember the bar I complained about? the water pump leaking, bro. What's on the other side? I don't remember. I didn't say it was an 18, but I'm not sure. Maybe it's a 19. Let's take our other one. See if that fits. Now, I want to go the other way. I want this bolt to come out this way so that it pulls the arm in. All green, onto the front. Uh-oh. I want to go out a little bit on this here wheel. Oh, that's nice. Look at that thing. Doesn't get any greener than that. Look at that fancy new printer. Let's see what happens. Print, print. Could it be that simple? I hear stuff. Oh, look at that thing. Told you it's no big deal. This one's done. You just got to drive it, of course. You got to make sure your wheel's straight. Wheel's nice and straight. Printouts in the car. Alright guys, we're going to end today's video there. I'm going to pull my son's Tundra in and do an oil change on it. So look for that video too if you haven't seen it. Torque the like button on your way out. I hope I see you in the next one. You're awesome.